Hey guys, it's Travis Daumert. I've got one unusual sort of topic today to talk about with respect to clarity. And here it is. It's called adjacent actions. So often to become, we'd say great, to become more of your best self, we would say you got to get a clear vision. You've got to be motivated by purpose, and then you got to get clear, that total clarity on how to execute. What is it you need to do? How much of it do you need to do? What does perfect practice look like? But there's one other thing that can be really helpful, especially when it comes to sticking with things, and that is to know how is it that the behaviors around me affect what I do, and how do the things that I do affect the people around me? Those are the adjacent actions. So let's take an example. And the example that I have found many times in staffing companies, but certainly other companies as well, is that there can be a breakdown between sales and operations, sales and marketing, or sales and recruiting. I'll take the staffing example. The breakdown between sales and recruiting can be huge if you're in a staffing company that does what they call split desk. One of you works with a client, one of you works with the candidates. Well, I think the reasons are obvious. There's not only a complete alignment of interests, but even if you get the interest right with compensation and mechanisms, sometimes people just don't actually understand, what do you do with the information I get you? So here's an example. Whenever we had a salesperson go out and they would bring in a job order, if they didn't get crystal clear on what are the requirements, what are the go and no-go criteria, one of the things that recruiters would do is have to interpret, use their best judgment, and try to find candidates they thought would be successful. So they send over resumes or profiles of candidates for those jobs. And it was not uncommon that the client would say, I'm not interested in any of those people. Well, that leaves a recruiter very frustrated. And quite honestly, if the recruiter is working with multiple salespeople, that means that recruiter, even if it's subconsciously, is going to start putting their best candidates forth to other salespeople. Because they would say, somehow, you don't know what you're doing. Because I'm effective when I work with these salespeople, and I never place anybody with your clients. Well, here's the thing. If you're that salesperson, go sit down with a recruiter and ask them to show you, how do you actually use the job order when I bring it in? How do you use the client information that I collect when you bring it in? Well, for example, one of the things that we found, recruiters would sometimes really struggle to market a job or a company opportunity. See, clients would think, hey, we have this need. We'll tell you exactly what we need. The recruiter needs to turn around and say, how do I make this into an opportunity that a candidate wants? It's not about the company's needs. If you're the recruiter, you're like, it's about the candidate's needs. Now, it does depend on whether you're in a supply or demand-rich environment. But nonetheless, when the salesperson understood that, wow, you need to be able to sell this job, then they actually ask more questions. They ask things like, what awards have you won? So that I know I can actually confidently prove, and my recruiter can, that you have an amazing culture. See, everybody's in it for themselves. Well, once the salespeople really understood how the recruiters worked, it changed how they executed their key actions. It would allow them to stick with things that maybe didn't feel like there was much of a payoff. So again, maybe it's something you're not thinking about with, how do I stick with the key things that make me successful? Look at around you. Look at the adjacent actions. How do the things you do affect the people around you and their success? Hope that's helpful. Have a great day.